That's the good stuff. Boy, Waylon is being picky. He's like, hey, do you not see that I got me 3 heifers here? Do you not see that I have me 3 heifers here, and a man of my stature needs more than a little green hay? How am I going to keep up with these 3 heifers when all I have is a dibble of green hay? Waylon, sir, you might want to consider healthy choices. That's all. Not that I've ever had to compete, Waylon, with 3 heifers at the same time. But I would suggest that you get on a very healthy diet and stay in the best of shape that's possible if you ever want to have any chance at any of these 3. All right, so we are just getting to I'm a Survivor with both Pearl and Gracie. Now what I'm going to do is turn into Mom and Dad's driveway. That'll make it a little bit easier to unload instead of having to go up into my driveway and then try to turn all around. It's harder to turn around with a heavy and long load. And this trailer on this dually is pretty long. But going up Mom and Dad's driveway would be a lot easier to pull straight up and then back into my spot. And we will be unloading Pearl and Gracie momentarily. I can only imagine what's going on in the back of the trailer. Pearl and Gracie are bound to be able to smell home. Animals are like that. Oh my goodness. Look at that one right there. Myra is on the trampoline. She's half on and half off the trampoline. What a goofy little girl. I imagine that Gracie and Pearl will be excited to unload, obviously. And then I'm excited to see Waylon and Jolene's reaction. I think they must be in the back right now. And y'all bear with me here. I'm trying to maneuver myself through all the nooks and crannies here to get into position to unload these guys. There we go. I'm just gonna back right up to this gate here, and that'll make it real easy unload. All right, so this is not an official feed up. I just put a little bit of grains out so I can back my trailer up and unload. Unloading will be easy. I don't want these guys coming out while I do so though. All right, my friends, this is how it's gonna go. I will stand right here. There's 1, baby. Okay, and there's 2. All right. Oh, the reunion. They're like, hey, we remember you. And so don't forget, that is that's Pearl's baby. Pearl's like, wait a minute, you've all grown up, and who's that boy? I don't think I've given anyone permission to date my daughter. Who in the world are you? Oh, y'all, isn't Waylon just in over his head with, okay. Pearl has like not seen Jolene in a while. Oh boy, Gracie's gonna lay the law. Gracie's gonna lay down the law right now. Lord have mercy. Gracie is gonna lay down the law and say, you know what, you might control one of us, but you don't control me. Don't even, he's like, well, I am Waylon, I run this show, this is my ranch. I'm a Survivor Sanctuary. She's like, boy, hush, just hush. And Pearl's like, Jolene's like, I'm just gonna eat what I can. And Gracie, sweetie, y'all just got home. You should go by and say hi to your little niece there. Nope, Waylon is all up in their beeswax. Waylon is all up in her beeswax. He's like, wow, you're a pretty thing. You are a pretty thing. You might want to be careful, Waylon. You better be real careful. Guys, I am so sorry, but I believe that Waylon has eyes. He has eyes for Gracie. Waylon has eyes for Gracie, and Gracie's just going to say, that is the saddest thing for this one over here, because Pearl and Jolene have nobody now. She's like, come on, Jolene, let's just go make a family. Let's just go create a family. And that's what's gonna have to happen. I'm gonna just go ahead and follow them off. I just left my truck sitting there running with the door open and it's raining. Door is wide open and it's raining. Okay, so I'm a little bit saddened by this because I knew, let's talk about it. Let's talk about what we thought was gonna happen and what's happening. So let's talk about what has happened. We have a little fella in Waylon who, when he came here several months ago, he was a rescue because the drought had completely destroyed the pasture where he was living. His humans could barely afford to feed. You know, they were feeding grains and hay just like we all were. And they just could not afford to keep up with it. And so they saw that we early weaned Jolene. You know, they watch our videos. And so they said, hey, if y'all can early wean, how would you feel about taking this little fella here off of our hands? We feel like he could be a really good fit there at your property. You guys have more resources than what we're able to provide, and they're about the same age. And so sure enough, we took Jolene at 6 months and took Waylon at 6 months and began a early weaning process here at I'm a Survivor Sanctuary. A lot of y'all can remember when Waylon first got here, how he cried and cried for mama. Boy, he cried for mama. He cried for mama so much that he lost his voice, and he went around here for a couple of weeks with no voice whatsoever. Well, once he finally began to realize that mama's not coming to get him, and that in fact Jolene is his partner and Lester is his human, he began to slowly adjust and adapt. But for several months, Jolene beat up on him. For several months, Jolene beat up on him. And then over time, Jolene and Waylon began to form a bond where, yeah, she may have wore the pants in the family, but Waylon was okay with that for a bit because he needed someone to kind of show him the ropes and teach him the way. But it was almost like magical. Something magical happened kind of overnight. A lot of us had been hoping that at some point Waylon would go ahead and man up. Let's just say man up. And it seemed like he did. I mean, just one day he was Waylon, the little guy who got pushed around by Jolene, and the next minute he began to kind of put his foot down to a lot of her misbehavior and her bullying tactics. And then, even though no one likes a bully, obviously, but we begin to realize that, wow, Waylon's becoming the bull that we hoped he would be. And we were all okay with that. We were all okay with that. So a week ago, Jake was able to move Moo, Annabelle, and Santoro out of my pastures into his own spot that becomes, they are now Jake's herd. And what that's done is allowed me to let Waylon and Jolene into the much larger 11-acre pasture, which is huge. I know. With that move, we were able to bring Pearl and Gracie back to I'm a Survivor because they share a bloodline with Tex. And we had to be real careful. Every time they would have a cycle and come in heat, we had to always make sure to separate them away from Tex. And so we would do that. Hasn't always been easy, but it required lots of management on our part. Anywho, now that all has been orchestrated and put into place, we finally show up today, and this is going to be the future Longhorns. This is the future of I'm a Survivor Sanctuary Longhorns right here. Now, we'll eventually add Charlene to the mix. That's the baby now who's at Longhorn Lester's, who's hanging in, that's Santana's newest calf. But that won't be until next spring, y'all. Now, let's talk about the ugly. How many of y'all have your hearts broken for Jolene? Because I think that all of us have been hurt. I think that all of us have been in situations where we are madly in love with our partners, Uh-oh. That's raindrops. It's raining, so my phone's getting wet. I believe that all of us have been madly in love with somebody at some point in our lives, and then someone else shows up and kind of changes everything. And I have a horrible feeling that Gracie's showing up, and it's obvious the way that Waylon is just all up in her beeswax, y'all. He's like all up in her beeswax, and Jolene doesn't understand. She goes, Waylon, wait, Waylon, you're mine. And so we have us a true, what the heck is going on there? Who's who, Pearl? Who is who, Pearl? Seriously, who is who anymore? So talk about sister wives, an episode of Sister Wives. We got us a doozy here. We'll just call it a doozy. We got us a doozy. And Waylon is right in the, well, Waylon, we ain't got that kind of a doozy. Waylon, we ain't doing that kind of a doozy here. Pearl, we ain't doing that kind of a doozy. But we knew there was going to be some drama, some girl drama, and I believe we're already experiencing it. Eventually, and I say eventually, Waylon will have to reestablish himself as the head, as the bull. And once he does that, y'all, you ever heard that expression, hog heaven? He's going to be in hog heaven. Well, once he learns, once he reestablishes that he's the bull, and these are all his ladies, even you, Pearl, he's going to be in hog heaven. But for the next couple of days, I don't know what to expect. Lots of confusion, lots of running around, lots of headbutting. And Waylon, that's the order of things right there. That right there is the order of things. That's how it all stands right there, guys. Pearl, Gracie, Jolene, and then Waylon. And so suddenly, everything has to be reshuffled. It's time to reshuffle all the cards. Well, I've given everybody a couple of hours to settle in. All the fireworks are over. The fireworks are over, y'all. Fireworks show has ended. Now it's time to go out and throw out some green hay. Make sure everyone's adjusted. Well, hello, Annabelle. All right. Anyone hungry? Is anyone hungry? I got some delicious green hay. Oh, it's the good stuff too, y'all. It's the good stuff. It's the alfalfa mixture. This is the yummy stuff, Jolene. Would you like a bite? I'm going to throw a little bit over there. I'll put another flake over here. I'm going to divide it out real good so no one has to argue and fight over it. There you go, Jolene. Waylon, you walked right past that, Waylon. You're not hungry for the green hay? Here, Pearl, would you like some green hay, sweetie? That's the good stuff. Boy, Waylon is being picky. He's like, hey, do you not see that I got me 3 heifers here? Do you not see that I have me 3 heifers here, and a man of my stature needs more than a little green hay? How am I going to keep up with these 3 heifers when all I have is a dibble of green hay? Waylon, sir, you might want to consider healthy choices. That's all. Not that I've ever had to compete, Waylon, with 3 heifers at the same time. But I would suggest that you get on a very healthy diet and stay in the best of shape that's possible if you ever want to have any chance at any of these 3. Or you can start calling for mama again. You can start crying for mama if you want to. Oh, poor little guy. Here we go. Look at the size difference in these 2. Just a couple of weeks apart in age. But boy, Jolene, she's a big girl because she's been eating on grains for a while. Hey, now don't you leave by yourself. But that's what I thought. No, you're not. You're going to turn around and step up and puff your chest out and be a man. That's what you're going to do, Waylon, because I'm proud of you. We're all proud of you, right, Jolene? Right, Jolene? Jolene, thank you.
Don't let your troubles fester. Come watch Longhorn Lester.
Yeah, something like that.